Hello there, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Nationwide. I'm Joseph Johnson. We begin by telling you about reported incidents of twin blast at University of Maiduguri around 5 a.m. this morning. One of the suicide bombers detonated his explosion at a mosque near Gate 1 when people were observing their early morning prayer. The second one occurred around Gate 5 of the university. Rescue and security officials were at the scene and 17 injured victims were evacuated to hospital. Head of Media and Public Relations of NEMA, Sani Datti, says 2 persons and the suicide bombers were confirmed dead as at the time of this report. Widowhood often makes the woman vulnerable. For many women, the loss of a husband is only the first traumatic step in a long journey of uncertainty. As the nation marks the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Leader Sampson tells us the story of Deborah Abel, widow of a fallen hero who is weathering the storm.
Doctors save lives, and I like helping others. That's why I want to become a doctor. Yes, I want to be an officer, but I don't want to go and fight war.
Isaac was 7 years old when his father, Staff Sergeant Abel Emmanuel, died in active service to the nation in 2012. Despite being young, Isaac still remembers the loss 5 years down the line. The pain notwithstanding, he says he can serve in the military, but not as a combatant, but a medical personnel. His father, Staff Sergeant Emmanuel, was deployed to Liberia on a peacekeeping mission and gallantly remained in the war front for a year. 4 days to his return to Nigeria, Staff Sergeant Emmanuel communicated to his family that he was on the way, but that was the last time they heard from him. Moments that still remain fresh in the mind of his 40-year-old wife and mother of his 3 children, Deborah. Faith Femi has been a close neighbor of the Abels, and she recalls the fateful day when most of the neighbors already heard the news of the demise of Staff Sergeant Abel, but no one had the courage to inform his wife Deborah, who was busy preparing his favorite vegetable soup in anticipation of his return.
I say, oh, I don't worry, but I will eat plenty. So I enter and that one told me, say, you know what happened? I say, wait. He say, Abel don't pass away. I say, pass away? Will all this thing what the woman do? Had that true?
The demise had a crushing effect on Deborah, but rather than wallow in self-pity and become just one of the widows of the fallen heroes, Deborah made a decision.
You don't just say because the man is not alive, then there is no future for you and your children. You just have to move on with your life. It has happened, it has happened. Death is inevitable.
To cater for her children, Deborah Abel took to petty trading and was also privileged to benefit from empowerment program of the DIPOA. Today, she's a producer of multi-purpose liquid soap. So far, her first daughter is in the university, while the second daughter, Mary, is in secondary school. Her determination and industry is rubbing off on the children, as Mary has already made up her mind to take her mother's business to the next level by starting a cosmetic line named after her late father. With Deborah, who is the National Secretary, Military Widows Association, as a mother, the dreams of Mary will come to pass. Isaac Abel, the youngest child of the family, said he remembers his father a lot when he sees his mother quiet. And of course, for Mrs. Deborah Abel, the widow of Staff Sergeant Abel, she will remember her husband all the days of her life. But she's grateful that a day is set aside, not just to remember fallen heroes like Staff Sergeant Abel, but to create awareness that indeed they paid the supreme price. For now, support for widows of the fallen heroes by society is all the likes of Deborah are asking for. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Residents of Maiduguri woke up this Monday morning to the news of an explosion following 3 suicide bomb attacks which claimed 5 lives, including the bombers. Mohammed Ibrahim reports that 2 of the attacks were at University of Maiduguri and the other on the outskirts of the state capital.
The 2 attempts by the suicide bombers in the early hours of Monday was first by a male bomber at a mosque at about 5:30 a.m., followed by a second one some minutes later. The Imam of the mosque, Abubakar Sidi, and one other eyewitness, Adam Muhammad, said after the explosions they counted 3 dead bodies.
On the first rakat, I had the bless. I just had the bless. I read Fatiha And as I was reading Surah, I came toward the end. I heard the blast, and people were crying.
The second attack, according to the police, was at the university's Gate 5, where a female bomber attempted to infiltrate the university's premises and was gunned down by security personnel stationed within. The third was foiled near Muna Garage area. Borno State Police Commissioner Damien Chukwu says
the whole night we can count about 5 deaths.
16 injured persons are currently receiving treatment at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. According to the university authority, all examinations of the day have been shifted to a later date, while others will continue the following day. While briefing the state governor Kashim Shettima on the incident, the university said it lost one professor, Aliu Mani, among those killed, and only 2 out of the 5 entrance gates will be open for access amidst increased security checks. This is the first time the University of Maiduguri is being attacked since the commencement of the Boko Haram insurgency in 2009, and the institution survived all through almost 8 years without closing academic activities. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has strongly condemned the terrorist attack at a mosque in the University of Maiduguri. The president, in a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, expressed sympathy and heartfelt condolences to the university, community, families of the victims, and the government and people of Borno State. President Buhari believes that this appalling attack on a revered place of worship and ivory tower shows that the perpetrators have no true understanding of Islam, adding that their despicable acts of terrorism are cowardly, criminal, and unjustifiable and punishable before God Almighty and the laws of the land. The president reassures communities in Borno and others in the northeastern parts of the country that his administration will continue to ensure that terrorism never triumphs over peace-loving Nigerians. He reaffirms the need for Nigerians to remain vigilant, even as the security agencies continue to use all means at their disposal to combat the remnants of insurgents and their sponsors. Still staying with Maiduguri, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima says the efforts of Nigeria's fallen heroes will not be in vain, considering their sacrifice to their fatherland. The governor, represented by his deputy Usman Maman Dokwa, stated this at the end of activities marking this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day and launching of Emblem Appeal Week. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
The 15th of January every year is a significant day in the history of Nigeria, as it was set aside to remember Nigeria's fallen heroes for defending the territorial integrity of the country. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, who was represented by the Deputy Governor Usman Mamman Rukwa, said the occasion demonstrates the commitment of Nigerians in reawakening the spirit of selfless service and promotion of national cohesion. He appealed to employers of labor to consider ex-servicemen in filling empty vacancies to enable them cater for themselves and their families. Governor Kashim Shettima commended the gallantry of the Nigerian army for capturing the dreaded Sambisa forest and the rescue of the 24 Chibok school girls from the captivity of Boko Haram insurgents. Chairman Nigerian Legion Borno State Mr. Williams Adam commended the state government for the assistance it has been rendering to members. Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Doli, Major General Lucky Irabo, used the occasion to present 123 detainees to Borno State government. During the launching of the Appeal Week, Borno State government gave the state chapter of the Legion 2 million naira. Similarly, Governor Kashim Shettima gave the members personal donation of 500,000 naira, while the Deputy Governor presented 250,000 naira. Other personalities at the occasion also gave cash donations to members of the Legion. State Deputy Governor Usman Mamman Rukwa, in company of the Theatre Commander, later visited the hospital and cemetery at Nemalari Military Cantonment. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the headquarters of 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Maiduguri, has organized a combined route march for security agencies in the state. Maimuna Garba reports.
The 10 kilometers exercise, which was meant to enhance the endurance and general fitness of the military personnel, took off in the early hours of Saturday from the Ramat Square and culminated at the 7th Division Wolf Officers Mess, GRA Maiduguri. Addressing troops, the acting general officer commanding 7th Division, Brigadier General Victor Ezogu, commended the fitness level, determination and discipline displayed during the course of the exercise, urging the troops to continue to put in their best in all tasks given to them so as to root out remnants of fleeing Boko Haram terrorists from the region and the country in general. He added that due to the importance of physical fitness in combating security challenges and social vices, the route march will henceforth become a monthly routine to enable personnel perform their duty efficiently. The exercise was attended by officers and soldiers of the Armed Forces, Nigerian Police, Customs Service, Department of State Security Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as members of the civilian JTF. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. British and German governments partner with Lagos State government on investment. Details of these as we link up with our Lagos Network Center with Abdullahi as our guide.
Thanks for joining us in Lagos, Joseph. British and German governments have reaffirmed their commitment to partner with the Lagos State government through trade and investment for economic development. Nosausola reports that the British High Commissioner, Paul Arkwright, and his German counterpart were on separate courtesy visit to the governor.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode, who received the duel separately at the State House, Alausa Ikeja, said that paramount on his administration's agenda is to strengthen existing trade relations with countries willing to do business in the state, as well as attract new investors.
We know that as Lagos continues to be the commercial capital of Nigeria, whatever it is that we do together, we will obviously grow the GDP of Nigeria. Considering the fact that 67% of almost all the commercial activities in Nigeria is actually in Lagos here.
Earlier, the British High Commissioner, Paul Arkwright, expressed the willingness of his country to partner and provide assistance to the Lagos State government and said that Britain is interested in Lagos as it is the economic hub of Nigeria as well as West Africa.
We talked about transport, we've talked about housing, we've talked about aviation links, all extremely important as we look to Lagos to really help to drive the economy of Nigeria.
On his part, German Ambassador Bahad Schlagek reassured the governor of sustaining the partnership between Lagos and his country towards making robust achievements at transforming the lives of residents of the state.
The relationship since the early 60s, I would say, is certainly the Lagos State German relationship.
They both assured the governor that investors from their respective countries are ready to register their presence and provide assistance in Lagos, as well as partner the state government on infrastructural developments. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
As Nigeria celebrates this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, the Lagos State government has urged Nigerians to be united so that the nation can make progress. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode made the call at the Tafawa Balewa Square Memorial Arcade. Nosausola again reports.
The governor, who laid the wreath in remembrance of the fallen heroes at the Memorial Arcade, urged citizens to donate generously to support the family and dependents of the fallen heroes, as well as the veterans who survived various military operations. The chairman of Nigerian Legion, Lagos State, retired Colonel Samuel Akonde, reiterated the commitment of the armed forces to keep Nigeria united as well as secure lives and property.
About our members that are still in the war front, who are still in the service, I want to continue to protect them, and I pray in the name of Father Jesus Christ that by this time of next year, there will be no any spreading of Boko Haram, not to talk about the persecution in the country again.
In Nigeria, Armed Forces Day, also known as Remembrance Day, is celebrated on the 15th of January. It was formerly marked on the 11th of November every year to coincide with the Remembrance Day for World War II veterans in British Commonwealth of Nations, but it was changed to the 15th of January every year in Nigeria in commemoration of the surrender of Biafran troops to the federal troops on the 15th of January 1970, thus signaling the end of the Nigerian Civil War. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
On to arts and culture now. If Nigeria's vast arts and cultural heritage are properly harnessed and effectively managed, they can serve as catalysts for economic development. Arts and culture advocate Bolanle Austin Peters stated this while speaking to journalists at a forum in Lagos. Ken Egbeluge has details.
Arts and culture in Nigeria has a unique potential to expand the country's economic base in addition to meeting the needs and aspirations of its teeming population. This is because culture can serve as a source of revenue generation and provide employment opportunities to bridge the unemployment gap. It is on this premise that the founder of Terra Culture, Bolanle Austin Peters, canvassed the need for government at all levels to exploit the country's huge potential and cultural resources as tools for national economic development.
Nigerian pop culture, so to speak, is catching on, and we're beginning to export it as well through our plays, through our fashion, through our music. We need to invest in community cinemas, we need to invest in more cinemas generally across board.
She further called for a meaningful and sustainable financing of cultural programs by government and financial institutions as ways of promoting arts and culture in the country. In Lagos, Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. Back to Joseph, who has more stories in Abuja. Joseph, the stage is yours.
Abdullahi from our Lagos Network Center there. Let's turn our attention to agriculture because the federal government is to roll a new policy and program that will further boost cocoa production in Nigeria. The initiative is based on the concerns that Nigeria then was the largest producer of the commodity, dropped to the 7th in the world. Musa Babaliu tells us more.
When you talk of global market for chocolate, you are at the same time talking about the demand and supply of cocoa, which is the raw materials for chocolate production. The global chocolate market at the end of 2016 is put at over $98 billion.
The world cocoa business about $80 billion. Only about $4 billion gets to the farmers. Why can't we do chocolate here? It's the same with coffee. 70 billion is the world trade, 5 billion is what the farmers get.
Talking of cocoa, Nigeria used to be the world's largest producer with over 1.5 million metric tons annually. Unfortunately, cocoa production in Nigeria has been on the decline for the past 20 years. At the end of 2016, Nigeria's output of the commodity is put at less than 400,000 metric tons annually. Factors responsible for this, according to agriculturists, are aging cocoa trees, diseases and neglect of agriculture for oil.
Where we missed it is the fact that some of the state governors were even cutting off cocoa trees and all that.
A cocoa farmer, a cashew farmer, is owing the bank so much. All he wants to do is that whatever he can get from his crop, he wants to export quick, to at least reduce the pressures of the banks on him.
The federal government is set to revive cocoa industry with a plan to plant over 60 million seedlings across cocoa-producing states.
Cocoa can grow in about 26 or 7 states. This time we want to push it and make it happen wherever possible, but also educate the cocoa farmers.
The government will also encourage value addition through agro-allied industry for more revenue, at the same time encouraging farmers. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Also, the federal government to roll a new policy and program. Oh, we brought that to you already. Let's take this one. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ogunwusi, has called on Nigerians to realize that agriculture is now the nation's new oil. He has consequently expressed optimism in the present administration's efforts to diversify the economy by developing agriculture. Timothy Yusuf reports that the monarch was speaking at the second annual public lecture of the Mike Omotosho Foundation held in Abuja.
Farmers should embrace agriculture to be able to participate in making Nigeria self-sufficient and to grow its economy.
The national president of the Oil Farmers Association of Nigeria, Kabir Ibrahim, is one of several persons who spoke at the public lecture, which focused on increased agricultural productivity for sustainable economic growth. His submission on the Buhari administration's effort to restore the lost glory of agriculture is among many reasons that informed the choice of the theme of the lecture by Dr. Mike Omotosho, who manages a 15,000-hectare farm in the Federal Capital Territory.
There is an urgent need to increase our agricultural productivity tremendously.
The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, reiterated that agriculture remains the mainstay of the nation's economy and adds that the national flag of green, white, green should be a wake-up call to Nigerians in this direction.
If we are not ready to change the flag of this country, let us go back to the fundamentals of this country, and the fundamentals of this country is green, white, green, and it stands for agriculture, peace, and agriculture.
Panelists at the lecture shared practical ideas and evidence-based approaches as they advocated commitment to all policies geared towards boosting agriculture on the part of government. Convener of the lecture and participants believe that well-implemented social policies, collective humanitarian efforts of like minds, and active participation of the people are the keys to reducing endemic poverty in the country. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Now let's bring you some of the day's other news. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, has restated commitment to support the implementation of the Stockholm Convention in Nigeria. This was the outcome of a one-day stakeholder consultation forum focusing on the convention. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
Studies show that women and children are most vulnerable to persistent organic pollutants, which are chemicals dispersed globally. Executive Director, Women Environmental Program, Priscilla Chakpa, and a counterpart from the Women Engaged for a Common Future, Netherlands, are among many championing the implementation of the Stockholm Convention, geared towards addressing the global problem of organic pollutants.
Nigeria has done a lot of excellent work to already address the problems of persistent organic pollutants, the POPs, which are the most toxic and the most dangerous chemicals known worldwide and have been banned globally to no longer be used so that they can no longer create cancer, birth defects, respiratory diseases, and so on.
Nigeria have a very good national implementation plan, which has been developed by the Federal Minister of Environment. I think that the implementation of that plan is going to help a lot.
UNIDO's environmental expert Yomi Banjo identified open burning of waste as being most unfriendly to Nigeria's environment.
And the higher population at the dump sites where these are mostly done are women and children.
Speakers from the Federal Ministry of Environment, National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA, and other government agencies called for more sensitization of Nigerians to the inherent dangers in the use of some basic needs of life which contain persistent organic pollutants. The Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants is a United Nations environmental treaty signed in 2001 and aims to eliminate or restrict the production of persistent organic pollutants in Abuja.
Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi says when fully implemented, the national transport policy will facilitate the nation's economic recovery. He was speaking on NTS Good Morning Nigeria. Aisha Oba Ali reports.
Transport Minister Rotimi Amechi believes that lack of implementation of the national transport policy has retarded economic growth in the country. To overcome this problem, a huge investment in infrastructure is critical.
We can't be building ports everywhere we go to. It's not possible. There's the Onisha River Port. That's right. There's the Lokoja River Port that's not yet completed. There's the Baro River Port that's near completion. That's what we're trying to focus. The Baro River Port will be connected to the narrow gauge rail line. And along that side, well, there's a rail line nobody's talking about. I could say it. The central rail line, which is referred to as Itabe, to Warri, has been abandoned for 32 years. We are reviving it. We are determined to complete it early next year.
Other guests commend the efforts of the executive and legislature in moving the sector forward in order to propel the nation to development. They noted that the situation where the transportation sector contributes only 4% to the nation's GDP is unacceptable.
I'm saying this because probably we have had in recent past the National Council on Transport being very active. But in the last 2-3 years, it has been virtually non-existent. The meetings never held. And it's a forum where most transport concerns are represented.
I know the ministry have been talking to a lot of Nigerian ship owners and entrepreneurs who would like to invest in this particular project. But I think it should be given a wider spectrum. It should be given a wider spectrum to let other Nigerians know that they can invest without being in the sector. If you go to the stock exchange, you are investing in many of the stocks available. You don't have to be in the industry.
The attempt to concession the existing narrow gauge lines. It is something that has been in the offing for too long. In fact, I think the first attempt was made in 2001. So 15 years on, we're only trying to get to where we were 15 years ago. So it's a very, very positive thing. There's a need for the private sector to operate the railways. It's the only way we can sustain the railway.
The guests believe with the increased budgetary allocation, the sector will be revived. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Benue and Nasarawa states' governments strengthen security along its borders. Let's join Charles in our Makadi studio for these and other stories from that axis. Hello, Charles.
And welcome to Makudi. The Benue State Police Command has confirmed the killing of 10 members of the Civilian Police Joint Task Force by unknown gunmen in Kasinala local government area of Benue State. Commissioner of Police Bashir Makama says arrests have been made in connection with the incident. Here are the details. The killing of members of the Civilian Police Joint Task Force occurred on Sunday at 1:30 in the afternoon in Kasinala, where the Joint Task Force personnel were having a meeting. Commissioner of Police Bashir Makama, who confirmed the incident, said the command has intensified its search operations and intelligence towards arresting the culprits.
Arrests have been made, but we want to conduct diligent investigation, intelligence-led kind of, with the consent of the community members to get there very soon.
Chairman, Civilian Police Task Force in charge of Benue and Nasarawa states, Alhaji Aliu Teshaku, said, this is the second time members of the task force have been attacked within the area.
First happened in Okum. My members were meeting of how they would make peace to the state and the federal government. They were killed. And also this one now, they are having a meeting. They was killed, about 10. That is 15 of my members was killed in a meeting. So I'm appealing to government that the government should do something on it.
The Joint Task Force has been assisting other security agencies in combating crime in the two states. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News. Still on security, the governments of Benue and Nasarawa states have taken further steps to strengthen existing security measures along their borders. This was the outcome of a security meeting between Governor Samuel Ortom and his Nasarawa state counterpart, Umaru Tanko Almakura in Makudi. Achigli Magaji reports.
Some of the measures include reinvigorating the existing joint security committees, more involvement of community and traditional rulers, and encouragement of whistleblowers on security issues. The two governors resolved that because of the onset of the dry season that witnesses the issue of farmers-herdsmen clashes, these measures must be taken immediately as proactive steps.
That myself and the governor of Nasarawa State travel to Obagaji, the headquarters of Agatu, to meet with the Agatu people and seek reconciliation between Agatu people and Fulani people, so that they can coexist again and live together as brothers and sisters.
And we are resolved and committed to ensuring that whatever it takes in the next few days, a solution must be found. That is why this meeting has been so dispassionate, without sentiments, without any insinuation.
In a related development, Governor Samuel Ortom had presented operational vehicles and other logistics to the Civilian Joint Task Force of Benue and Nasarawa states. This, the governor noted, is to facilitate the complementary role played by the security outfit in combating crime in the state. In Makudi, Achigilimagaji, NTA News.
In a related development, Governor Samuel Otom has commended Nigerian armed forces for their sacrifice and determination in ensuring that Nigeria remains one indivisible entity. He said this at the laying of wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier to round off activities marking the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Makudi. Ashigli Magaji again reports.
The environment was serene and solemn, depicting the mood of remembering those who paid the ultimate price for the defense of the country. Having inspected the guards of honor mounted by detachments of the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, the Navy and the Legion, Governor Otom headed for the arcade of the unknown soldier. A moment of silence in honor of the fallen heroes was observed. Then followed shortly was the prayers said by priests and imam. High point of the ceremony was the laying of wreath by Governor Otom, followed by the Air Officer Commanding Tactical Air Command Makudi, the Commandant Nigerian Army School of Military Engineering Makudi, and the Commandant Naval Provost and Regulatory School Makudi. Others are the representatives of the AIG Zone 4, Chairman Benue State Council of Chiefs, and the State Chairman Nigerian Legion. The ceremonial 21-gun salute was observed. The governor also led the team on an inspection of the gallery set by the medical department of the Nigerian Air Force. In Makudi, Achigilimagaji, NTA News.
That report rounds it off from Makudi. Joseph, it's back to you.
All right, just time to remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. That's if you use devices with iOS. This is NTA Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's pause here for some messages. More reports shortly. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Pension matters, and in specific terms, the plight of pensioners is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, with those who matter. It promises to be revealing and informative. Don't be told. Join us.
Only you blind, you deaf, dumb, you even mental.
Brother mi, ẹ má dá lóhùn. Olórí burúkú ló pọ̀jù nínú wọn.
Brother, you go slap me now.
Esprit the cops, no. Now.
See fine girl. Oh, brother, me.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, Stephen Odingbe.
I just realized I ran out of fuel and I forgot my ATM and wallet at home. Sir, please, could you help me with anything?
Ego transport another way. Are you going to Igwenga?
Sir.
Mon Dieu.
Hey, Olani, you have eyes to look
So shall it be permanent in your life?
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
I have catch a big liar in our family.
And who could that be?
Is she a berry papa? Is he a berry mama? A berry what?
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life. Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotel.com.